Imagine if your paycheck got cut by 90% every 3 to 6 months. That's the world Venezuelans have been living in since hyperinflation took hold in their country in 2016. The Venezuelan bolivar is now the least valued currency in the world, with black market exchange rates off the charts, over 4 million bolivars to the dollar and sinking fast. That means starving Venezuelans have to do whatever they can to survive.
I was just here talking to my Venezuelan friend Roberto Sanchez, and I asked him if he had any Venezuelan money that he could show me. And so he ran off for a second, and he came back and brought me this stack of bills, this stack of money, look at that, and handed it to me and said, take it. The real scary question is, how do people survive when you can have all the money in the world and it literally won't buy you a thing?
Unfortunately, the people who cross this bridge aren't just looking for food and medicine. What they're searching for is hope.
Jaime Ayala works helping sick Venezuelans get care in Colombia because the medical care in his country is almost non-existent. His wife Esperanza works with him.
We see children sleeping in the streets. There is just so much need. People are in distress because there is no medicine at all. So we try to help get their needs met.
So this is the illegal way to get across from Venezuela into Colombia. It's called La Trocha. These guys are bringing products either into Colombia to sell or back into Venezuela, things that aren't available there, things like tires, things like medicines. Coming across from Venezuela, we're seeing a lot of scrap metal that they sell over in the Colombian side. We see things like copper wire because people are ripping the wires out of the walls and wrapping them up and bringing them over here to sell just to get enough money to eat.
Leonel Castillo and his wife Sara work with their church to help the poorest migrants coming to Colombia.
The wealthiest Venezuelans have already escaped to Spain or Miami. The middle class is going to Ecuador or Chile. But the poorest and most vulnerable are coming to Cucuta.
I took a walk in downtown Cucuta late one night, and there were hundreds of women selling the only thing they had to sell, their bodies. These 3 teen girls I met have been working on the street for the past year, starting before 2 of them were even 18. They say it's terrible work, but better than starving.
It's bad because we're always getting guys who are drunk and sometimes they abuse us. We come out here every night, but sometimes don't get any business because there are so many women out here.
This is no kind of life. It's tiring, it's ugly, but what can you do when you have no future?
It's amazing how many similarities I've noticed between what's going on in Venezuela and what I was seeing in Syria. Now, the stuff in Syria was definitely worse, but it's similar in some ways in that just the level of desperation. You have people that literally they run out of options. And one of the best ways you could illustrate that is by meeting prostitutes who are actually mothers with families and husbands back in Venezuela, but they're coming over here to Cucuta and selling their bodies for just a little bit of money in order to make enough money to survive. And so, before you go judging, you might ask yourself, just how far would you go to make sure that your children could eat at night, to make sure that your children could get the medical care that they needed?
Castillo and his family are doing what they can to help some of these girls get out of this life and give them a hope and a future.
It's sad, yes, but it's an opportunity for God to manifest himself in the works of his people. And we know that their most basic needs are spiritual. What they need is Jesus.
Chuck Holton, CBN News, Cucuta, Colombia.